Okay, posting this video, 2007 Aston Martin DB9. Had a problem that I needed to resolve. The seat was stuck in the all the way forward position and would not go back. The recliner worked forward and backwards. The front and rear raising and lowering option worked, so the seat bottom would go up and down. Seat back would go back and forth, but the seat was stuck in the all the way forward position. When you apply the switch to go back, no current down at the motor down here. I'm going to see if I can get you a view here. All right, you can see that purple and white wire. Those are the two wires that power that motor. The orange wire, and behind that's an orange and black. Those wires are on the motor to sense the position. So that's the position sensor, and the fatter wires are the power wires. Now this has a shorting switch, meaning that right now, switch is in the middle position. Both of those, the purple and the white wire, are connected to ground. When you push it forward, then one wire is connected to hot while the other one is still connected to ground, and vice versa. When you go in the opposite direction, then the other wire gets 12 volts and the other wire is now shorted to ground. But in the middle position, they're touching each other. So putting back probing these back in here and trying to jump it, the motor is not going to go. You're just making a dead short. Now I have this connector loose already, just because you can get it. The problem was that you can't get the seat out because it's stuck in a forward position. So now that's what it looks like. Let me try to zoom in there for you a little bit, or try to get it to focus a little better for you. Okay, on the motor, that's what the motor connector looks like. You have to get that connector off. Basically with a long needle nose, came in there and pulled it off. Well, you can't reach those connectors with jumper leads. You can't get your hand in there because the seat was bolted in, and this is a low seat. So I created, out of some stiff wire, which is actually wire used for upholstery. Sorry about my hand being away, just trying to get positioned here. Okay, took this wire, very stiff, doesn't bend hardly at all. It's used in tying down upholstery. Okay, and I took a spade connector, you can see there, a female spade connector, and cut it in half, so just half of it is exposed. And I soldered it to this solid wire. I had to use a little small torch because a regular soldering iron won't do it, doesn't get hot enough. And then took some shrink tubing and put it on there so it's insulated except for the very end where I want it exposed, so that I can get my jumper lead on there. Okay, once those are made and the motor is disconnected, then you take these and you work them down in there, and this is done while the seat's bolted in the car, because you wouldn't have to do this if you could get the seat unbolted. So you put that down. Let me try to show you how I did that. At least do one of them anyhow. You see the connector there. Sorry, there's a lot of things in the way. And basically just come in there and you slip it on. The larger of these two wires, these two connectors here are where the wires go for power. The smaller connectors you see next to them, I guess in the video they'd be to the left of those small connectors. You don't want to touch those, so you come on the outside here and you slip these on those connectors. Once you do that, that wire hangs out from under the seat out here, and you can actually get a jumper lead on it. So you hook up your jumper leads to your battery, make sure that you're obviously disconnected from the car, and I just use a battery jumper box, and you connect jumper lead to that and decide which way you got to go. You might have to reverse them. If you do them one way and it tries to go forward, and it's not going to go forward because it's actually jammed, then you reverse the wires. So you reverse the black and red depending on what direction you want the motor to go. Pretty simple. I mean, it's not rocket science. The problem we had was this piece of hard plastic, and it's very hard, was, I mean, really hard, I can't even squeeze it, was jammed in the track. And once that happened, the seat module will not allow the seat to move because it sees that it's jammed. So, try to focus a little better for you there. So, when that happens, when we check for voltage down at the motor with long test leads from like a fluke meter, there was no voltage. It wouldn't send voltage. It wouldn't send a signal to that motor because it sensed it was jammed, and for safety reasons I guess it's designed to not do that. Once I was able to stick these probes in, move the motor back, unbolt the seat. Well, move it back first, get the front bolts out, then move it forward, get the back bolts out, and lift it up, and plug everything back in, and go through the cycle. Then the motor started working, because I freed it up. Now, before I could move it back, I had to take a big screwdriver and beat this sucker out of there to get it out of stuck inside the track there. So that's what happens on some of these. Once the track gets jammed by something, it's not going to move. I don't care what you do, it's not going to move unless you remove the obstruction and then manually disconnect and manually move that motor. Unbolt your seat if you want to. You may not have to. In my case, I did because we're going to do some upholstery work on this seat. But that's the trick. These long tools right here, pretty simple. Spade connector, some solder, some shrink tubing, and a solid piece of wire that fits inside that spade connector. Those are about 7 inches long, which is just long enough to come out from under the seat. And so you might run into the same thing on a Jaguar seat too, an XK. Might have the same type of issue. Nice little tool to have. I hope this helps you guys out there. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make this seat go, and I saw a lot of blogs and a lot of forums, and nobody had the answer for me. So this was my answer, to manually move that motor and then get everything reset. Hope it helps you out. Have a good day.